Hey, everybody. I am not Mr. Nicholas Anthony Tockert. I am Trilaina Bachman, and I am hijacking his show today. So, our favorite swordsmaster is oh, running a little late today, so I took over, and so you get me. Um, so oops, Nick did have a topic, but since he's not here to talk about it, I was asked to talk about how I went from student to sword mistress. Oh, hi, Don. Um, so I started my sword journey over, goodness, 20 years ago now. And I started out, really knowing nothing. Um, I actually had somebody teach me how to walk. They're like, we need you to walk in a straight line. Just walk at me. Just literally walk at me. Hey, Thesis. Hey, Foxy. But, yeah, they were literally like, hold the sword in your hand, walk in a straight line at me because your footwork. What are you doing? Just what even are you doing? So, um, I went from doing that. I had the same first teacher, Nick did. Uh, I have the same scar in my uh, helmet that he does, and then I went on to the same group that Nick did, and learned a lot. And it was a lot of gaining the confidence to trust myself to know that I knew what I was doing, if that makes sense. And it got to the point where I knew what I was doing, think it. Um, you have to you have to stop thinking at some point. You have to trust that you've done your drills. You've done your drills over and over and over and over. And you could do them in your sleep. And sometimes you have done them in your sleep. You've dreamed about them because you've done them so often. And your brain just turns off. It falls into that rhythm. And it gets to the point that you you don't even remember what you do sometimes. Nick and I would have a bout, and I could not tell you what move I did to end. I could not tell you the first move that we did, but it happened. It's on video. I couldn't tell you what we did. Um, so we went from not being able to walk in a line with a sword in my hand to muscle memory. That's how much we practiced. And every time that, some kind of class would come up, yeah, let's learn about that. That's not my wheelhouse. I want to learn it. Even if I don't think I'm ever going to use that, let's learn about it. And it started small. And it started with supervision. Very slowly, I would notice that it started with other women. Um, Sometimes it would be them, oh, my arms hurt. My arms hurt after all this. I don't have the strength for it. I can't do it. Okay. Pull them aside and be like, look, we don't have the upper body strength that the guys do. Here's how to do a push up that, it's a little bit easier. Here's a wall push up, and show them away from the guys. And sometimes it turned into, hey, if you move like this, it doesn't hurt as much. It really doesn't. And it just slowly, taking them aside, and I kind of check, like, hey, can I, can I, can I talk to them? Can I talk to them? Is this okay? Making sure, I'm not overstepping. I'm not telling them wrong. Little things like that. Um, Step over to your comments real quick because I'm not as good at monologuing as Nick is. Sorry about that, guys. I need that interaction. But we've got Dawn here. We've got Thesis. We've got Foxy and Kitty. And some Joe dude. I don't know. Sarah can literally only walk in a straight line when buzzed. We're not drunk, but buzzed. Great topic to come into, even though you don't have context until now. Yeah. So I'm talking about going from student to swordmistress. And it got to be that people would start coming to me before they started coming to other people because they knew I had gone through similar things to them, especially if they noticed, hey, I'm built like you. Like we have the same build. Can you show me that? Show me that shot. Show me, how did you learn that? What did you do with that buckler? Like, how did you get it to move like that? How did you move like that? So, hey, Midnight. And some guys don't understand the difference between center of balance they have and the center of balance we have. Thesis is better than most. Yeah. There's actually, I'm sure you've seen it, the videos that go around where women will have their significant others kneel down with them, put their hands behind their back, like put their hands behind their back, and they fall on their face, and the women are just like, yeah, yeah, it's fine. But yeah, the, you don't think about it until it affects you. So yeah, Sarah was AFK. No problem. No problem. Ruby, hey, evening. Funny that you called me that. Talking about how I went from where you are to where I am now. So you actually started, with nothing. You started out with less than I knew. So yeah, but you've gotten amazing in such a short period of time. But oop, need to join the cool kids and create a YouTube account if you don't have it. Actually, you don't need a YouTube account to watch. I think you just need it to comment. Greetings to Ruby. Yeah, it's good to see you again. Or that lean against the wall and pick up a chair. Yeah, 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 yeah. The chair thing. You are also a martial artist, and most of the guys that are doing it aren't. So you know how to shift your weight in a way most people don't. Most guys don't. Hey, Ruby, and you learned. Yeah, yeah, yeah. True, most guys can't. Behind all of you, I just watched. Be in the chat with cool kids. But so so yeah, once I started learning, getting more confident in myself, it was it was a slow process. Just starting to pull people aside and showing them, hey, I noticed, you're holding your arm like this. If you hold it like this, you can move it like this, and this is what I've learned over time. And it got to the point that people were asking me to teach them, and I did ask Nick for his blessing. I was like, look, people are asking me to teach them. Do you think that's possible? Like, I'm trying to get them to go to you. Um, yeah, you did start at zero, but you are a rare case. But yeah, you did start at zero. You had no grounding. later in life, and I don't want to call you like an interesting case or anything like that, because you're a person. You're an interesting. You had an interesting start to it. Yeah. Do you have a Gmail account? You almost need one to exist. Yeah, pretty much. Most of the things I've seen Blade do and talk about, I knew I saw. I had no clue they were actually doing it right. Yeah, it's Thesis and I have had conversations with some of the movements we've done when I've asked them to clarify, like, "Hey, what did you mean with this?" Like the casting, and I'm like, "Hey, that's really similar to like something else I was talking about." Yeah, it's awesome to find out otherwise, because I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's just position this or position that, and you move like this." But it, it it was a slow process becoming sword mistress. Like I said, I've been doing this for about 20 years, and I'm just starting to pick up students. Um, and it's it's definitely interesting. I don't know thesis you I don't know if you've had that fear of, what if I teach them wrong? What if they get injured under my watch? What if they get injured because I didn't teach them enough? What if they get injured because I taught them too much? You know, it's it's an interesting thought process, because you become responsible for somebody that, in a way that you never really thought you would be. And it weighs on you in a way that you don't really think about until it happens. It's a constant fear for you as well. And when you're teaching people that you really care about, it makes it that much. Yeah. And you don't want them to get injured because of something that you taught them, whether it be a physical injury or an injury, a mental injury. Like, I worry constantly that, one of my students has to use what I taught them, and the toll it will take on them. Like, what if I teach somebody a rap shot that, hits in the head, and they injure somebody permanently? What's that going to do to my student? And it's it's something heavy that you have to think about if you ever want to teach somebody. Um, oh, oh, Google utterly destroy items fighting with. Oh, the lightsabers. Yeah, that's a different thing. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, you have uh, we were talking about the armor grows moons ago, when she was talking about you have the mental thing when you decide to fight, but you also have the mental thought process when you decide to teach fighting as well. So you do have to sit down with yourself and think that through. Um, yeah, and you never stop learning when you decide to teach. And it it wasn't even a conscious decision for me to, like, oh, I didn't go one day I'm a student and then sit down at night and go, you know what? I'm a sword mistress. I'm going to teach now. It wasn't like that. And then next day, like, I'm a teacher. I'm going to teach you. Yeah, it wasn't that, like, that clear cut. Um it was a lot of working with other people. It was a lot of conversations with my own sword master, which was Nick. It still is Nick, but he won't stop being my sword master. He is my eternal sword master. But it was a lot of conversations of, do you Do you really think I'm ready to teach people? Do you really think I'm capable of teaching people? What can I even teach these people? Like, uh, am I really there's nothing I can teach somebody else. And then um, having it uh, handed to me very forcefully that I was already teaching people, and you know, I basically already had students and just didn't realize it. So, yeah, that was a thing, and a kick in the pants. Quite the realization. Oop, yep. Yeah. Foxy's hypermobility and these. Yeah, you also have to think about their physical limitations. Like, I had a friend who was blind, and I know Nick's taught somebody who was completely blind. My friend was functionally blind. He qualified for a seeing eye dog or eye horse. We were trying to get him to get the seeing eye horse, and he wasn't doing it. We were kind of sad. But yeah, I haven't taught anybody with hypermobility. But yeah, the don't do that. That yeah, some things since you were a kid that you didn't even know that. Yeah, and it's a constant fear for you as well when you're teaching people. Oh, yep, we covered that. Yep, yep, yep. One of these days, you need to tell the story about you and Foxy's brother and the French bread of dupe. You know what? Everything's a weapon if you think about it, right? Running water never grows stale. Yeah, amen. Yeah, you never stop learning because once you stop learning, you're deceased. But yeah, just today I learned that Thalhofer was a German dude from the 1400s that published 5 manuals. I thought it was just describing, I knew it was describing a style, but I didn't realize that it was one dude. So you learn. But yeah, just I know Nick usually goes on much longer than this, so I guess it turns into let's have a conversation because I'm really bad at rambling about myself, especially with no questions. So I guess let's turn this into an ask me some questions and let's have a conversation and let's learn things some, some things together. If you ever stop learning, you would never have met this lovely group. Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. We all start reaching out to each other and start learning different things. And yeah, because if I stopped learning, I would have been like, oh, he's into Chinese stuff. I don't do Chinese stuff. And that would have been that. And I would have been like, I don't need to talk to him. And that would have been absolutely ridiculous. But so going slightly off topic, I absolutely love talking to you about like the crossover between Chinese, like Eastern and Western. I know I've said this before, but like there's so many similarities, but they're only slightly different, and they're different enough that it just slightly. I love it. Have you had a chance? I have not. I have a stack of manuals that I am trying to get into, and I need more hands and eyes. I need to be a spider. That's what I need to be. I need to be the spider from like James and the Giant Peach. And here comes me with it. Midnight. We need to talk because like I have I have no grounding in Indian martial arts, and I would like to know more. That would be fantastic. I would, yes, I would love to know so much more. Never even knew a shirt, other brother from another mother was anything other than a nice shirt until Blade was discovered. What the derp? Right? I was like, I knew like, oh, that's Chinese style clothing. Okay, that's whatever. Like Chinese style. Now I understand. Like, oh, that's from this like era of time for this reason. Okay, that makes sense now. It makes sense, right? Absolutely, please do. I have a Twitch that is just my first name, Trilaina. If you want to send it through there, or it, all my socials are just my first name because surprise, surprise, nobody took the name Trilaina for anything. Weird. It's weird. You have a lot, right? I'm guessing anyway, right? No, that would be awesome. But yeah, I also pulled a Nick where I started learning from like the heavy fighters, and I'm like, hey, you guys have shields over there. How do you make those go? Let's make those go. But I prefer so this is the new baby. It is a Tallhofer buckler, which was why I started looking up Tallhofer because I was like, who's Tallhofer? What did they do? But so I when I was running with the SCA, I had what was known as the turtle shell. And it was actually an oval cookie sheet and it arced over. It was an ellipse, just bloop, and I could make that thing go. So I'm very excited to see how this goes. Hopefully it's comparable and yes. So yeah. I'm also excited to see how this goes because I'm hoping it does is just slides off here, gets caught, rotates. So hopefully I can get Joe to set up the tripod and we can spar in the backyard. That would be fun. Um, Stuck in the Japanese style of things. He didn't want to learn it. That's not how a katana works. He's dumb. The less you know. It's just the squeegee going in reverse. Just oh, tiny longsword book, but I want someone else to read it first. No offense to thesis. I've I think I might have something floating around that I can share with you. Possibly. Maybe. Maybe. Brother-in-law. In his case, yes. Yeah, don't just because it's not your style doesn't mean you can't learn anything from it. I mean, I come on. Come on. The human body only moves so many ways when it's not broken. I'm going to throw that in there because I'm also going to say that hypermobility I'm throwing under the broken category. I'm sorry, Foxy and everybody else that's hypermobile because bodies shouldn't be moving that way. Shouldn't pain like I'm going to say bodies only move a certain way without pain. So, yeah, they should only be moving a certain way without pain so many ways. So, there's a lot of carryover between the different styles, but they have different reasons for why they do it. And it's interesting to see why they do it. I don't know. I find it fascinating. So it's like you're uncleaning my laptop screen. I'm just making it dirtier. Like, ugh, put the filth back. My family members are not bright. We all have family members that are not bright. It's fine. I call myself broken and just frequently. I am also broken just in different ways. Utilize everything you learn. That's part of the learning process and what works for you. And when it comes to exactly, he was offered to learn the staff and in exchange for helping paint the house. Free free teaching. He was fine with the staff with the gym. Free lessons. Free lessons for painting. I, I can. Do you still need help painting the house? Because I volunteer as tribute. I can bring my own brush or roller. You can't draw cut with it, so I don't want it. I mean, you could if you tried hard enough and you sharpened it enough. It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be preferred, but you could do it. I'm just imagining faces like twitching and just that's not what it's for, but tell me I'm wrong. Oh, okay. You showed him exactly how you can do it. He said, but not like a katana. Dirty girl. Listen, I will clean up after the ice cream. It's fine. So yeah, just I think it is. I think it is. Yes, it's the one with the Siamese cat. That is Hobo. And thank you. I very much appreciate that. And we're gonna skip that because this is Nick's channel and yeah. All right, so a draw cut is exactly what it sounds like. You literally just draw the blade. So it's just drawing the blade across instead of like stabbing. So, um, oh, I have things here. I forgot. So just look simulation. Oh, you have a different kind of draw cut. Okay, so in the Western thing, it's literally just draw cut. So it looks like the Eastern style is different. So so from Eastern style, it's cutting from the scabbard, so it sounds like the bloop, which makes sense because you're drawing it and cutting at the same time, I assume. Yes? Hmm, interesting. Yeah, we use it as like you're drawing it back. Huh, vocabulary from different places. I- You know, you do you. That grammar is a thing. Oh yeah, katana is known for it in different styles, like yado, and yeah, I'm nope. I can't. It's not happening tonight. That's something you can talk about on tea time. Yeah, and some of the yeah some of the same words with different meanings. It happens. It happens. And yes, so let me hydrate. You hydrate too. You dehydrated noodles. All right. So, yeah. Oof. What else we what else do we have? What do we have here? What do we have here? I'm trying to see what I've got. Got some rundels. Got some rundels. Are we doing what's everybody working on? What are we drilling? What what's everybody working with? Like the long point versus first. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just a case of we're saying different things, and sometimes we mean the same thing with different words. Sometimes we're saying the same words and we mean completely different things. I don't need you. Go away, Facebook. Shoulder stretches this morning. Every day I get a little better. Nice. I'm glad it's getting better. That's very good. I've actually been using my stick back there to stretch my shoulders out because I've been shrimping a lot. And while it sounds like fun, it is not. So every night, stretch out the shoulders, stretch out the back, do my drills. And Ladurp, nothing right now as far as working with anything for everything, not wrapped in enough bubble wrap yet. That's no problem. And you know what? You can always just do sitting sword work if if that's available to you, because you can always just throw your shots like this if that's comfortable for your situation right now. Don't don't break HIPAA. Don't if you're uncomfortable saying medical stuff, don't do it. Don't do it. But you can always just do what you're comfortable doing. It's kind of like the chair exercises, and I do it sometimes just to stretch because I like I said I shrimp. They can still pop out unexpectedly, but not as often. That's good. Yeah, that would not be fun. I don't do that. Set my hand down into a pool of puppy. Yeah, Sarah can send you some. There we go. Yes, collaboration. We love it. No pressure, Sarah. Only if you want. Especially if you've been told not to do those things, don't do it. Like, listen to your doctor. We are not medical professionals. So, um, occasionally I take my ping pong ball for some variation, and I will hang it up and do point control on that, and then it starts swinging, and then I do moving point control on that. And if you want to get frustrated quickly, that is a very easy way to do it. So yeah, especially if you get smaller, lighter objects to use as your target. If you start with, a tennis ball, something like that, it's not so bad. It bounces, but whatever. Yeah, that can get super frustrating super fast, but it gets very satisfying the more often that you can hit it. So it's a very good training exercise, especially if you want to work on that point control. I know Rich uses the Meyer Cross. I know Thesis uses it too. He's got a computer program he uses. chair workouts. Walked to the store and back today. First time in a while we've been able to. Nice, Foxy. Chair Tai Chi is great if your legs are not great. Oh, that sounds nice. Apparently, I can't. If you just want to send it to my email, it's just my first name at gmail.com. Even though if you do not want to use my Gmail, you can probably send me messages on YouTube or Kick or possibly the Gram uh, or Discord. I am also on the Discord with the same name. Or I'll reach out to you and see what I can do. We'll figure it out. I'd rather burn things at the moment, but that's a whole other story. Uh, you know what? Candles are just how we keep fire as pets. So, if that's what's keeping you sane, that is a whole other thing. Kitty's got the rope trainer's art that you practice with every day. That's awesome. How much how much room do you need for that? Because I have never seen one of those like in person. Is that something you like? Do you do that in the dance studio, or or outside? Can you do that in like a hallway? I don't know. I'm curious. I would like to know more. This Bajoon trainer from Purple Hearts doing lunges and other training. Awesome. Lunges are one of the worst things. Don't. Oh, I was gonna say become a wall. We had a friend that we gave he acquired a riot shield and just became wall. And yeah, he became a very good wall. He became an excellent wall. I've watched it in practice and love to see and eventually learn. The rope dart from that Kitty uses. I was gonna say, I'm sure Kitty can. We can find a way to facilitate, some rope darting. I'm sure you are on Discord. Awesome. Thank you so much, especially for going to all that trouble. I appreciate it. And while you can see, we can do that. We can do that. So yeah, we've got you guys are doing awesome. You should all be really proud of yourselves. That's a lot that you guys have been doing. Oh, you practice in your studio, but you also do it outside. Rope dart is hello. The length of your wingspan plus the drop to the floor. Okay, so it's 1.5 times, 1 3/4 you maybe. Interesting. Interesting. Hands-on learner, right posture and movement, something you can try out in the backyard. Danger of yeah, please don't dislocate. We are. Yeah, wall is always an option. Make them come to you. Make them unalive themselves tired. Then you can walk away in comfort. That is always an option. You be comfortable. Make them uncomfortable. Martial arts with very limited feet movements. Yes. Yes. Play to your strengths. And are we rope dart, Sarah? I can definitely Flo May. Oh, is she the one with the fire? Because She is amazing. Yes. Okay. Nope, it's fine. Best in grass or barefoot? Oh, yeah. I don't think that I would suggest Western martial arts barefoot just because it's such a heavy contact. Um, I don't know what thesis would suggest for Eastern, but yeah, Western I would highly, highly discourage barefoot because there's a lot of heavy contact and it's just such a when there's a downward motion, it's usually backed by body weight. And um oh yeah, people are I got a private message with reminding me about a foot stomp maneuver. People will intentionally go for the feet. And so our friend John, who was built like Hagrid, in that just imagine Hagrid with gray hair. Now imagine the same Hagrid with gray hair with rattan sticks and coming at you. And you have John. Now imagine that stomping on your foot. So yeah, shoes. Shoes. Always wear shoes. 100%. Please always wear shoes when, practicing with us. She does fire rope dart, but oh yeah, she does have the instructional videos. The years with Eastern methods, being a beast. Yeah, broken toes suck, and there's nothing they can do for it except tell you not to use your toes. Yeah. Um, to adjust some styles, practice for myself, but it's a catharsis thing and depends on the ground. Yeah, fair enough. Oh, oh yeah, I forgot that Manda practiced HEMA, which was lifesteal, wasn't it? Yeah, that was lifesteal, and there was a miscount, and a gentleman lost the toe of his shoe due to a miscount with a battle axe. So please wear all your protective gear at all times, especially when sparring.
Hi, guys.
Hello, hello.
So I want to apologize first. Normally, I would not let anything keep me this far from my program, but my personal, because I keep a separate debit card
Mhm.
for online stuff. Uh, they basically hacked it and
Oh
then
no.
tried to. Well, there's this. They had to upgrade the card, so I was supposed to get a second card, and in that time, the old card was supposed to be turned off, but wasn't. So somebody got into the program and I had to go through and do the no, I did not spend several $1,000s on this.
Oh my
No.
gosh.
Uh, so my
Yeah,
bank is 2 hours away.
that is important business.
So I do apologize for that, guys. But I don't want to interrupt because she's doing splendid. That's why I was sitting here for a while. I not that and just shoveling food in my face. But
No, you're fine. We've had some interesting conversations. So,
yeah, it looks like it. And Amanda was a part of a lifestyle group called the International Swordplay Association. So ISMA.
Oh, okay. She was Isma. I thought she was Hema.
No, HEMA doesn't use lifesteal.
Okay, okay. I was mistaken.
No. You're fine. I mean, juggling all these acronyms can get.
There's so many. They're
And when
like
you
pin
realize
dogs.
half of these have a name and that's actually an acronym, it's like, good lord, people.
Right.
Might do better if I use the glasses that let me see what I'm reading, but
Ah.
but but how have you been? Fill me
Good,
in. What have I
good.
missed?
No, we kind of talked about how I went from student to sword mistress, uh,
Excellent.
the path on that, and then we talked about a few terms, and then we talked about what everybody's been doing and what they've been training in, what they've been doing health wise, that kind of thing.
Excellent.
And then people have been kind of sharing um, some of their practice stuff and some information back and forth. It's been really cool.
I was here for actually quite a bit longer before I hopped in. I was in the background, and she knew about it. That was a private chat. Uh, but I was watching it. Yeah, I'm. This reminds me of the workshops,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's why I don't. You guys found out one why I almost never pre-schedule my show because every time I do, like clockwork, something stupid happens. And two, this is what when the guild first started out, when we were meeting in the library, this kind of discussion, we'd have the tables in a big box
Yeah.
with a big empty space, and we discuss stuff, and then we very slowly, carefully, because we were in the public, you know, all but pantomime what we were doing and totally didn't play music and get out of control. Because
No white reflection allowed. Not allowed.
uh, but no, I've been glossing over some of these wonderful comments, and I am really fascinated. Hi, Ruby. So I want to say hi to everybody. So Foxy, Kitty, Joe's been lurking. Hey, Sarah. Yes, we will be seeing you as soon as you get down because practices start regularly next week over here. So we get you down, and then if you can get transport up here, I'll get you in on all the local things, and we'll see what you were taught. And ooh, I'm just enjoying the comments. I love how intelligent this group is,
Right?
and the chat is incredibly versed in a wide variety of things. Uh, just just delightful. So I didn't mean to break the flow, but it looks like I did
Mm-mm.
it. So giving Trey a hydration break is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And let's see. I'm just checking. Brother-in-law's.
Thank you, Midnight. Let me check on that.
Let's see. It is interesting to see what styles people cling to because I see a great comment by Thesis from 820.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
we were talking about that.
Style purists fascinate me. Uh, and there is a Chinese longsword book.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
uh, and I'm sorry, I'm just
no,
skimming
you're
over to
fine.
see what parts of one because if there is one, please send me the Amazon link or whatever. And as long as it's not obscene, I will acquire it and try to review it. I'm at the point where I have to keep my. Let's just say I'm taking a lot of gigs because I have to cover my DA account. But yeah, I'm fascinated. I love Dow. Don't get me wrong. I mean, for painting and that happens. And
Yeah,
you know what? I can see that point. Like I can see both sides of this. You can't draw cut with it, so I don't want it. But you can draw cut with the gin. He's smoking dope. Uh, I mean, it's not as easy as it is with a katana, but that's not.
That's what we
You
were
know,
all like, but we're like, if you try hard enough, you can.
you can cut with a rapier. You just have to be strong enough and know how to make it go too. But
You just have to do the thing.
actually, did this get corrected
Oh
on the?
no, we talked about it. It's got vocabulary between Eastern and
Ah,
Western. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We talked about. Yeah, we were talking about differences between Eastern and Western vocabulary
okay,
and how we refer to things and how
right.
sometimes we cross wires and we'll say like draw cut.
Block that.
He's referring to cutting from the scabbard. I'm referring to draw cut.
The draw
Yeah,
cut.
yeah.
Well,
So yeah, we were
um,
talking about that, and we
and
had a
that,
good
that
discussion about that.
ooh, I love it. I
Yeah,
hate
yeah,
to
I
have
know. I was
that's
like,
such a
Jesus, I love this.
um. But yeah, see, that's one of my greatest beefs is people don't train from the draw in a
I
lot
know,
of
right?
styles.
Like that's just first position for us. Like a it's a draw. It's a first position,
That's why I'm always looking for. Does it come with a sheath? It comes with a
right?
sheath
You use the
because
sheet to draw.
I love going. Okay, guy, taking people who fought for years and okay, now you're going to start from the draw. What? You don't get to start from a ready position.
Oh,
We
this isn't like a proper,
duel. This is.
this isn't the Olympics. This is a brawl. Let's go.
Well,
And
I
if you're
need to
lucky,
do.
you can use the scabbard as a weapon.
Ah,
Just
Batusai. Anyway, um,
where's your 30-foot vertical?
okay. I do not practice hitting Mitsurugi. Okay, I am too fat. My hit
Oh, my
Mitsurugi
knees aren't
might
good
be
enough for
like
that vertical.
3 inches. What?
My knees aren't good enough for that vertical jump.
Well, I might make the jump, but the landing's going to
Oh,
end me.
no
I'll
superhero landing
dislocate my
here.
elbows on the landing. Just process what I said there.
Nice. Oh man.
And the Iaido Aijutsu, how katana overlaps into Aikido. It is a fascinating tool.
Yeah, I have no background in those, so I really can't speak with any confidence on them.
You have more background than you know.
Eh,
I say that because it influenced too much of what I do.
I was gonna say, like, I have the background, but I don't have the
Vocabulary.
knowledge, like vocabulary. Yeah,
Right.
I don't have the separation of knowledge. Like, I don't know definitively, like, oh, this is this style. I just have
Oh,
make it go.
and that is usually the route I lean towards
Mm-hmm.
because too many people use the vocabulary as gatekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I hope I'm not over talking you.
No, no, no.
Oh, okay. Uh, I'm not. Let me see. Thank you for the link. Okay. Let me know when you're here, and maybe we can work something out, Sarah. And okay. No, no. We when we are dealing with working with women, the only way I've go the word autistic has come out because all that turns off with me, like all the
Mm.
jokes and stuff, as soon as armoring or training is involved. Uh,
Oh, I just saw that comment. No,
yeah,
Sarah,
you do
no,
not
do not. You will hurt yourself. Do not do
severely.
that. Please do not do that.
Um, what will happen if you are doing this regularly? If we cannot find an adequate over the counter plastron for you, and you do get into this, what we'll do is we will get some plastic like HDPE, and I need a second bowling ball.
Yeah,
But I hate to put it that way, but I need a second used bowling ball because I have one around here somewhere, and we can use that. Uh, or we can make the kind of like the dressmaker's dummy.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna bring this up because I really need to make a
Yeah.
safety thing. Um, oh, where did it go? Where did it go? No, nope, that jumped. Okay.
What do you? Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
When it comes to um binding, please do not ever bind your chest. Especially, I'm saying this for the big chested ladies, the small chested ladies, the trans community especially. Do not bind your chest when you are exercising. Um, it makes it so that you can't breathe properly and you can actually cause a great deal of harm to yourself. I know for some people that can cause some dysmorphia. Um, we can find another way to 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 make you safe and to um, help you exercise. But please, please, please do not bind your chest during exercise. It is extremely unsafe, and you will get hurt, and it it can kill you. It really can. It will straight up just unalive you. So
Yeah.
I'm not kidding about this. I am very, very, very serious about this. Please do not bind during exercise. So
Yes.
this is me being extremely serious.
And rightfully so. Absolutely rightfully so. Uh, like I said, you don't. Oh, I can't believe I'm the one. I'm covering at least part of this. Uh, Properly fitted sports bra. You don't want anything. You don't want anything with underwires. But for the love of
Mhm.
God, I've
Um,
had to help extract impalements.
yeah. Sometimes just double sports bra.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes sports. Sometimes
Oh, you're
bra, tank top, another bra. That sometimes that helps because you don't have the shifting. Um, I know this is an uncomfortable conversation for some people, but this is we've got into an area that's literally, this could save lives. So
right.
um, for the larger chested ladies, they do make high impact sports bras for larger chested women. They are extremely expensive. I understand this. I am very aware of this. Um, but if it keeps you alive, that is definitely an option. Tight fitting tank tops help. My cat agrees.
Uh, Kitty's got one that I think needs to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I've
You can't expand your ribs to breathe, and you gotta breathe. Thank you, Kitty. Yeah.
I've unfortunately for them had to explain this to some of my trans students who've come
Yep.
through, and for that exact reason. And a couple of them had to stop fencing because the body dysmorphia, and there's no judgment there.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no judgment, but you can't do it if
Yeah.
it's not safe.
This
There
includes
is,
wearing binders.
yeah,
They're
there,
not made to expand.
right.
Um.
I mean, that's the point. I saw it fairly recently. There is a company that is making new bras that have, okay, you have the support, your standard
Mhm.
bra, and then it
Yeah.
comes back around
Yes.
with double Velcro.
Yes.
And I cannot remember. I, I look into these things because I want, these kind of
Yeah.
conversations happen. Uh,
Like, seriously, if this is a major concern for people, PM me, and I'll look into it, and I will see if there is a reasonable option. I will find a way, and like we will find a way. And just please don't bind. We'll find a different way.
Because the women have had to be uncomfortable, and this has been brought up. Uh, Men, hi,
Your turn.
your turn. Uh, some of you will insist on not coming onto the field wearing a cup, and you'll give all sorts of reasons. Um, you will be cruelly injured if you do so. Uh, I'm going to go further with that. A lot of guys come out wanting to just throw on a jock strap, which to people who are uninitiated is a big elastic band, a front. It almost looks like a thong for guys, and the elastics come down from the front and then split and go up basically at the cheeks to the elastic band in the back. Now the problem with that, as so thoroughly demonstrated by one of our mutual associates, is that a cup in that type of device can be moved rather easily. And I have one person I knew who deliberately and consistently trained in doing that as a 1-2 shot and was proud of it.
Yeah.
I would say bad form on an epic level, but they make boxer brief style with the pocket. They are so much better. It is so much more reliable. Please, please do that. Also, do not fight in. A lot of the cups now have soft flexi sides for comfort. You do not want the soft flexi sides for two very good reasons. One, obviously, they can flex and go in. And two, in movement, they can flex and dig into the sides of things. So,
No.
Yes. Now, without going into the full details of it, Sarah's expressing that she developed rather rapidly, very young. That is a trend I found among a lot of my students.
Yeah.
Because the people who developed rapidly were sexualized rapidly, and that caused extensive problems. And, good, bad, and different. So this is actually something really, really common.
Yeah.
And I am not dismissing these side effects in any way, shape, or form. But I am, this is meant to say, it's so much nicer having Trey here because I don't have to be, like, I can be quiet and not go, this brand used to, Lane Bryant has in the past made really good ones. Because some of you guys might not want to hear it. It sounds like a guy mansplaining bras.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's very nice.
But then again, you're also married to a well-endowed lady.
Yes.
So you do get bonus points for that.
It's I am versed in these, and it's something I keep relatively attentive of.
Yeah.
So I will also say, men, especially those of us of a certain age and certain build, there are heat wicking stretch fabrics that people will wear as, the Under Armour undershirt kind of thing. Those are very good because if you have, masculine adjustments up here, or you have, the dad bod belly, can actually, when you're being very, very active too fast, can like pull on the sides and cause a lot of discomfort. Because I was laid out, I gained a whole lot of weight very, very fast. So I'm definitely a member of the Tiger Stripe community. But support, and when we talk about armoring, and I think we need to do an established episode where we can almost script it out. I mean, like
Oh
outline it
yeah.
so we don't miss anything. And I genuinely would like you in on this.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
we need to think about from the difference from skin out armoring to
Yeah.
okay, how you're going to if you're doing day to day, because it's important to do skin out armoring very often, but you also have to, for the elements of practicality, you have to at least somewhat train in what you wear. Because I've had instances with martial artists who've spent decades in their given martial art
Hmm.
barefoot, and as soon as they're out in their shoes, they suddenly find out that the grip is entirely different, the movement is
Yeah.
entirely different. It throws their uh, go prominations off, and I've had some like nearly sprain themselves, sprain ankles and things because they're not used to making the movements in their shoes. So you have to
Yeah.
train both ways. And I'm sorry, it's just you're going to have muscle memory.
Yeah.
And I do this myself. I do my drills in my shoes usually because 99.9% of the time I medically have to wear my shoes. I do my
Yeah.
exercises in my shoes because you're going to build up different things. And like I said, in most people, understanding both ways is a good idea. I know, not the green room guys, but yes, great minds think alike, Sarah, and a lot of it's finding the weapons and styles you like. Foxy mentioned lack of mobility or lack of desire. Yes. Oh, absolutely. Thesis makes another one. They spend all their time training in gi or uniform, then they can't kick when they're in jeans.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, because of my background doing this stuff, if you pay attention to the way I dress to be comfortable enough to do what I know how to do, and I hate to say it. And you know what? I am going to say this, men and ladies, this is good for you too. The wonder of leggings.
Oh yeah.
The wonder of fighting in leggings is absolute sorcery. Somewhere, someone gendered fabric where women get stretch and like actual softness, and men get durability, but ne'er shall the two meet. Uh, Lycra is sorcery. It really is. And yoga pants, those are
Oh
splendid
yeah.
too.
Yeah, they are.
I just because I was in the SCA and I was a medieval reenactor, I have worn a lot of leggings. In part because when I was signing up and joining my friend turning girlfriend, uh, was like, well, you're either going to be a Scotch persona and this, or you're going to be a French persona. And it's like, I will take leggings over the kilt. I know kilts are fun, but I've had yellow jackets go up my shorts. So I don't like not full length garments. And yeah, they do. But not all leggings are created equally. So do try your leggings on if you're going to fight in them in daylight and in fluorescent light.
Yeah.
Because we've had a couple embarrassing things happen uh, at uh, independent practices where it's like,
Hmm.
I then have to go, I'm sorry, are you aware? Because some of my students were very comfortable and were, of the, but, the Greeks trained without the clothes. It's like,
Yeah.
No, we can't. But why? Just no. And yes, Sarah, before the term yoga pants reached me, I always called them theater pants because that's what the people who
Mhm.
work at the theater always used. Uh, I will also advise you, Sarah, I love all black. I really do.
Yes.
Uh, but the wrong fabric in black literally nearly killed me from overheat. So you
Yeah.
want to keep that in mind. Uh, but like I said, I feel like I've come in and just stomped on your
No,
speech.
you're fine.
So I feel
Actually,
very bad about it.
so I checked out the website that Foxy shared.
Yes.
Some of the sizes go up to M.
Oh, excellent.
So yeah. Yeah, that's Foxy, that's fantastic.
Uh,
Excellent.
because I will actually, Foxy, are you friends with Amanda? Because I think Amanda would do well with that information. So if either Trey or Amanda or Foxy could send that to her, because she's going to be starting the how to get in shape arc.
Yeah, like these go from like B to M on some of them. So yeah, they're inclusive. So yes.
At one point, Amanda was, what was she, an I, an H, I think, H or I, depending which store she was at. But that's what Manjaro took away while she was on it. So plus Magnuses on that all around. Uh, but yeah,
And you can
a
sort
lot
it
of
by size. You can sort it by size.
oh, that's delightful. I'm sorry,
Foxy,
I've spent a lot of
Foxy,
time.
where did you find this gem? This is amazing.
Okay, I know she said it in the chat.
Like I have it. It's
Her room.
herroom.com. This is bless you. Bless
I do a lot of pre research before I put anything in front of Amanda,
you. Right?
and it's not meant as racy stuff.
No, like
It
and they have front closures for okay, so on the price chart, some of them are on sale for like 14, some are so they have a Fruit of the Loom like regular for like 21.
hmm,
And I mean they do go up from there. So some of them are in the triple digits, but like they're they some of them are like in the 20s and 30s,
which is not bad at
and
all.
you can sort them by price. And you can also sort them by on sale. So
Nice.
and brand. So like they have name brands and they have, not so name brand.
Which sometimes isn't a bad thing because, like, that's how you
Uh-huh.
find things like
Sometimes they're
Kashyyyk.
better. But yeah, front closure when you have like shoulder issues. Thank you. Thank you. And they have everything from like they even tell you like, oh, it's low impact, it's high impact, it's whatever impact. Oh, that's amazing.
And I am so glad that this conversation is let me do that, is going on and like having you here for it because this is part of the side of things we need to discuss.
Yeah, I'm actually glad, Sarah, that you said something instead of just doing it
Absolutely.
because I would have been terrified if that had happened on the field and we didn't know and you just passed out. So yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
very glad you said something.
Because it's funny because I forget Usually until some D-bag pulls me aside and tries to tell me your dark psychology secrets because you look like you're in an isekai. I'm not a twat and I don't want to sleep with them. But sorry. That might have borderlined on green room, but it happened frequently that I forget that the incredibly busty or very busty hypermobile uh, genre, usually with physical damage from other things, is not the norm because that's so common with me. I don't bat an eye really at that. And that's why I'm all about like, you know, look, I hate to say it, ladies, but learning basic armoring, which is part of why I'm getting the stuff together to write that book, so that you can shape your own stuff, or you can, with a friend, shape your own stuff. Can really help both your confidence and your safety. This is one of the things I have raged against in the SCA, and I very rarely actually drop the acronym, so you know it's serious. I believe everyone should be required to wear a plastron because repeated impacts to breast tissue has been clinically proven to increase the odds of breast cancer. My mother is a breast cancer survivor. I take breast cancer ridiculously seriously. So I want to do whatever I can to keep you guys safe and informed.
Yeah.
And it's one of those where when it comes, the delicacies of sword mastery, of you need to adjust your armor and going, it's sort of like when I occasionally have the easiest way to correct someone is hand over hand, which is okay. You're because some people just can't visualize like the wrist turn or something like that.
Yeah.
I know I even need that when I'm trying to learn the Kali passes.
Yeah.
But that does require a lot of almost puppet-like where I'm stopping and going, okay, can I touch you on your elbow and your arm? Are you cool with this? Because while I have no problem poking my students to playful death with a weapon, body-to-body contact opens up a whole world of things. And I really, really encourage the ladies, who may catch this video, because I hope we can share this around more, and maybe we can again that outlined kind of maybe Trey's guide to female fencing or something like that might need to happen. But posture adjustments, because a lot of times I'll have to say stop. If you don't straighten your toe, you're going to blow out your knee or something like that. And there's some people who physical education is supposed to teach you how your body moves and how it feels. Yeah. And when you start training like we do, because one thing I hear from every single female student I have had, every 25 years of doing this, a quarter century, every single one of you has looked at me in private at one point and gone, but I'm a klutz, so I can't.
Yeah. Yeah. Those words left my mouth.
And this is ironically where I can treat this better because I've worked with special needs people. And for autistics especially, body awareness and sensory perception is very difficult. So, like, understanding where you are in space around you is something you have to learn. Now, I have the benefit of a large number of pain centers that constantly remind me my hand is here, my elbow is here. But when we talk about the heat gear, that can help, because if you feel the compression a little bit, your body feels it and is more aware of where you are.
Yeah.
Okay? There are only, I'm going to say three reasons somebody is klutzy. Whatever they say, there are only three reasons. You have an actual biological reason, either in your nervous system or in your ears. You have some kind of fundamental balance disorder. If you are severely klutzy, you go to the doctor and you ask these questions, because it may be something that can be treated with something as silly as nose drops. I actually went deaf in one ear and nearly in the other because of problems with my sinuses, pinching off the auditory. You know what I'm saying? Auditory nerves. Yep. So a doctor can help you with that. So that's one. The second reason is mindfulness. This is the most complex, not complex, the most common one. That is where it's not that you are klutzy, it's that your mind is not on what you are doing at the moment. Hi, my name is Nick. This applies to me and has my whole life.
Hi, Nick.
You know, I used to tell people I had ADOS, attention deficit. Ooh, shiny! But, you know, if I am thinking all these wonderful worlds and mathing and, you know, in quasi-synesthesia, I should not be walking, let alone driving. But we can work on that. You know, there is a mental aspect to what we do. And then there is just a simple lack of training where you haven't been taught where you are, what your reach is. This is why I'm very insistent on measuring. Everybody who starts fencing with me starts with a quote unquote proper length sword. That is geared towards being a tool to help you understand where you are as much as working with your relative proportions. And it can really help. Out in public, my gosh, ladies, the hair tie. I found a way to keep my hair ties. I tie them to my bottle, and then the cats can't get them. But when you're doing this, you get yourself 4 hair ties, not super tight ones like these. I have hair that hates the universe and would conquer it if I let it loose too much. You want the lighter, looser ones, but put a hair tie on your wrists and on your ankles. Some of you need to behave right now, and I understand that. You may need a moment. When you've settled down, we'll go back to it. But something like a hair tie or, I hate to say it, but cat-sized collars. And again, I'm not being funny. You need a bracelet, so the elasticized, like old balls bracelets that they used to sell, something on each of your major motion areas.
Yeah.
It will help you tremendously get through that. I know my fencing gloves. It sounds stupid, but I put my fencing gloves on and I know instantly where my hands are much better than when I don't. When I have body armor Under Armour that fits me, it just helps all over. It also will help treat the anxiety that you may develop, that you may have. I'm too scared to learn this. I have found literally putting something like that on as an undergarment, it gives you the compression, tricks your brain, makes you feel safe.
Yeah. It's like a big hug. It's like a big hug.
Yes. And we need more hugs. The vast majority of humans are psychologically touch starved. I'm sorry, I'm a little late on some of my meds, so the speech a bit acts up.
We're also half an hour over how long you usually go. So
Yeah, I usually cut off at 9, but because I arrived late. I was trying to give extra. If you need to go and that you have places to be, I can't. I can't thank you enough for covering. I pulled over because that's what you do when you're using a text. You pull over into a parking lot. You take a second and you type it.
Thank you for doing that.
Which is why I could not respond when she's like, "Do
Nope,
you have a topic?"
that's
You
fine.
know.
I'm glad that you did that safely.
But I almost lost my point there. I actually did lose my point. I can't remember what I was talking. What?
I'm sorry.
No. You know. Oh, I was thanking you.
Psychologically.
Yeah, I was thanking you. But being able to. Oh, hair ties.
Yeah.
No, I was thanking Trey because having someone I can trust as much as her, who is as informed in what I do, and I don't trust guys. I want you to put the, and I don't trust men either because I'm a man. I know what, but no, I don't trust
Thanks for
people
agreeing.
like easy, as in I don't trust. Period. The list of people I actually admit I trust is probably one and a half hand, and those of us who have uh, different last names, that is, uh, that number drops dramatically. So it really is wonderful, and I am eternally grateful because then I wasn't completely panicked driving home in a deranged. I'm like, okay, I can finish. I had to pick up some meds too, so it wasn't like I could go and just stop my running. I'm like, I have to. I'm looking at the time. Okay, I have to go to Walmart. I have to pick this up. I have to do this. I have to do this. There's no way I can mathematically get there in time. I didn't, like I said, I did not expect to spend like an hour in the bank because
No, that happens.
and I walked in at 4:30. They kind of kept doors. They kept the place open while I did this because I have a good bank.
Yeah.
But that's where we were. But you will find the hair tie or something similar will help as long as it's elastic and it's not digging in so much. It hurts.
Does it have to be elastic?
If it's fitted properly.
I was just thinking, what about like ribbons or something? That way it's not like cutting in,
Well,
but it's firmly there.
I think again, if it's tied properly, because it has to have the full circular pressure.
Okay.
Because you need to, if it's loose,
Yeah.
what'll happen is you'll feel it and then you won't.
Yeah.
But it's like I know some people who can't function if they don't have a wristwatch on.
Yeah.
It actually took me quite a while to adapt to not wearing braces on my wrists.
Mm-hmm.
But that will really help, and that will help you with general klutziness. That happens.
Maybe not wear something around your wrists and ankles.
Yeah. What you want to
then
do?
You'll be aware of it.
Yeah. You want to change what you are used to as a marker. So for me, as another example, I wear my neck knife, right? And you guys have all seen it. I actually have it buttoned into my shirt. Hold on. There we go. This has a certain amount of weight. I have to have something because for many years I had to wear a cross everywhere I went.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not a lack of faith. It's a whole different situation. But I couldn't, I'm like, I don't feel like I'm me. I don't feel me because I was used to a certain amount of weight, both pressing dead center and tugging a little bit. Mm-hmm. Oh, y'all can have fun with it, but tugging a little bit at the back of the neck. Mm-hmm. Taking it off unsettles me, but it unsettles me in a way that I become almost hyper aware. And it, for me, personally, it makes me feel on a subconscious level that the stakes of, say, fencing are higher
Mm-hmm.
because this is my comfort item right here for a
Yeah.
myriad of reasons. Uh, but yeah, I I think that can really help. Make sure you're wearing proper footwear. Um, Again, we talked about the barefoot thing, but closed toe shoes, please. Um, Normally, I will say no heels. I make exceptions for certain types of boots because there's going to be a bit of heel there. And I have some people I've had people who wore heels so much that their their Achilles tendon actually
Mm-hmm.
has shrunk. You get
Yeah.
Barbie footitis. So they
Yeah.
had to wear something with a heel. Uh,
That and if that's what they're wearing all day, every day,
every
that's
day.
what they're
So
going to be
that
wearing.
and see that's where it goes. In a discussion I had with another instructor type person
Mm-hmm.
was they need to be wearing flats. Yeah, can they? Well, you take off your shoes. Actually, I can't. I have lifts on one side and orthotics to be able to walk and not dislocate my hip, knees, and lower spine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you have to train in what you are wearing. But let's see. So we'll go ground up. Since we're talking undergarments and we've embarrassed ourselves, please wear undergarments, gentlemen.
Everybody,
And well, I have to start with
especially okay. So if there's going to be a medical emergency, they're going to take your pants off.
yes.
Wear undergarments, especially if you don't want to flash your fellow students, your sword instructor, the nice EMS people that are going to save your leg or your life. Because if you get cut, you're getting a tourniquet.
You know what? I will mention the story where I nearly died. It was at Simple Day, which is an SCA event held in lovely Indianapolis in the middle of July. Uh, it was incredibly hot. It was about 120 degrees. I was wearing the armor now known as the Widowmaker,
Mm-hmm.
back then only known as the trash bag, because it was a single layer of ballistic nylon. So I didn't have to have layer after layer of cotton. Never mind that cotton breathes and ballistic nylon does not. And I had a very delightful series of extended fighting periods. Uh, Received an award, and on the way back, I collapsed from heat exhaustion. They stripped me down to my boxers, and I got paraded in front of the Queen's thing in my boxer briefs because I had to uh, be taken to facilities with water, and it was the whole experience makes for a great story, but I know it can happen, and sometimes you need it to happen. Now, if you were wearing something unforgiving in the as ladies' underwear, examples are brought up in the chat. I'm not bringing them up on the screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh, what can happen, and this is not, you know, bashing anyone's proclivities, because everybody wants to look hot, everyone wants to feel good. I don't disrespect that. I will say it becomes a situational problem because occasionally fabric can bunch, and I am aware of at least one case where they're fighting in the leggings.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the SCA legal draping jacket hanging down. They are fighting. They have the problem of being taller than their uh, male opponent, who has learned to come in from low angles.
Uh-huh.
And what happened is the training sword, the rapier with its big old tip, caught the fabric of the legging, stretching it. Well, it also caught the fabric of the minimal undergarment that was being worn under there, and the term wedgie is not even close to sufficient. And yes, this was something I did. It was not intentional. I felt terrible, but I was in a bout with someone who was supposed to be better educated about this stuff than me. And I got yelled at extensively for somehow, it's like, you threw a hard shot to my. No, I didn't. I threw a hard shot to the top of your underwear. Your underwear gave you the gift.
Yep.
So, you want to do that. You want to wear moderate clothes. And this isn't me being a prude or anything like that. It's just potentially safety issue. And no, Sarah, I believe it or not, I understand where you're coming from. Uh, uh,
If you're aware of the risks, then and you're willing to accept those risks, that's
now this
you're
is
an adult.
There is a device allegedly called a Jill, and it is supposed to cover the ovaries, essentially, and that region. But they're rather hard to find, rather expensive, and they tend to be one size fits all.
Yeah.
I suspect it's male engineering for a female problem, which always goes well.
Yeah.
Uh, so you may want to look into something. If not, especially with what we do, I will always rather have you be over armored than under armored.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just trying to keep talking while the chat has its merry way.
Right.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
that's one of those. Oh, oh, my dear, dear Sarah. I don't think you guys get just how all the green room stuff turns off when I'm in this mode. It literally is. It's the same mental place I go when I'm dealing with medical issues. You know, when you have to have your hand inside somebody that shouldn't. No, you didn't. You didn't break me. You didn't break me. Were I not having this particular type of conversation? Yes, I know, and we just what was discussed on that subject, Sarah, is if you know the risks and you have signed the waiver, you know it's going to be on you. But honestly, the only way I can put this is I've worked in the medical field for quite a while, adjacent because I was a DSP. That exposed me to vast quantities of nudity. I am an artist. I'm a classically trained artist. That means I've been exposed to vast quantities of nudity. And because my friends thought it was funny to make me blush for long periods of time, in the case of what you're talking about, it would be easier possibly for something to gain entry. So a sword tip could theoretically gain entry if there isn't fabric to to protect that. Because the kind of leggings you want to wear to have the mobility are very abrasion resistant, but as the earlier story said, can they can stretch really well. And we have had incidents where people went shall we say oil drilling accidentally.
So I have found the female protective device.
Yes.
And it looks very much like a cup. And it's basically just a flat cup.
Yeah. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
So
so yeah, they are available. They are on the Zon.
Oh, good. For a
So
while there, you used to have to track that stuff down
nope. All
really
you have to
hard.
do is if you look for female sports protection,
Oh, wonderful.
it's right there. You can also look for female athletic pelvic cup or female pelvic protection, and that's what you can look for.
So I am very, very happy to hear. Oh, because they're required in softball now.
Yep, and they have them for like stand-up sports.
Excellent.
It looks like
I
they're
am,
at least recommended for like MMA and some of the more grapply
yeah,
things. So
that makes sense.
yeah,
And that this sounds terrible to say that delights me, but it
no,
delights me because
they're
I've
making it
spent
safer. It's
uh, there are certain things I've spent years going, please listen to me. And I've reached out to companies, saying, why don't you make these things? I have
mhm,
students who wish to use them. I have a wife who wishes to use them. Why should they have to go? Because for a while there was like one company and it was a medical company kind of thing.
yeah,
But
and
so I
and
am
they,
in. Wow,
they
Walmart has a really neat, because I threw it in Google out of curiosity, integrated protection shorts
I was just
set for
gonna
like
say they do
20.
have the like boxer style shorts.
And again, that could, because if I hate to say it, but everything I said about the cup possibly being an issue, this thing can have the same issue. So you need to think
Yep.
about the engineering. Um, so I hope this is actually helping. And I'm working very hard not to let myself be awkward on other people's behalf because I don't want to faux pas as a male mansplaining things. It's like, please.
We're just trying to keep you guys safe, especially in such a sport that can get very heavily contact, especially if you're sparring with somebody that has either no point control or they've especially made the conscious decision to have heavy point control.
You know what? We'll be on it. I want to be honest here because I've seen a lot of groups where they try to run female fighters off through
Exactly.
abuse. And there are two groups that have to be well or over armored. The
Hmm.
instructor of the group always has to be over armored
Yes.
and there's no maliciousness behind it,
No.
but the person, how does underwear not,
So the underwear catches before penetration can happen.
yeah, I mean, we're into this. The underwear is not nearly as stretchy as the leggings, and it prevents. There have been stories
I was gonna say,
where,
Sarah, if you'd like to contact me on Facebook, I can get a little more specific there than I can here.
yeah, unfortunately, YouTube is so precise on what we're allowed to say. Twitch has its own terms of service that even when we are discussing things in a very
Yeah,
medical technical situation, we have to be very
yeah.
careful.
I can actually explain things with um, proper terminology without trying to be vague about it.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And that is partially why that's why this channel is separate from my channel,
Hmm.
because I do discuss issues like this, and because there's weaponry discussed and things. There's every show is a chance that my whole thing will be wiped out. But while it's here, uh, It's great. I feel like I'm not getting all the comments because I saw Thesis respond to Kitty, and I didn't see Kitty speak
Where?
of specifics. Oh wait, something speaks fair. Oh,
Oh, they were talking about fighting styles.
absolutely. I have no doubt that Sarah could. Now, I do need to address something to Thesis that I realize you probably don't understand. You have been in Chinese martial arts almost exclusively your entire career as a martial artist. Until what would you say, 5 years ago, Trey? Um, what we do wasn't considered actually a martial art. Like Western, like when you talk Western swordplay, they kept it in a separate category from martial arts.
Yeah,
And
it was put in the LARP category.
right,
Unless you were a strip fencer, you were considered a LARPer.
right, and so total disregard. And I hate to say this, but I had dozens of people who would come out of dojos or out of Chinese martial arts schools and go, they pull out a trainer and say, what you are doing isn't real martial art. I will show you. And it did not go as they expected because unfortunately, the vast majority of schools I have found don't cross train, which is why I very much encourage it. When you reach a level of being what I consider an established practitioner, established swordsman, established fencer, an established practitioner of bagua, when you are at a point where you know what you're doing, I'm not saying you're winning championships or anything hinky like that, but when you know what you're doing, you then have the obligation to try to cross train with as many styles as you can, try to train with people as high a level as you can get to bear their time, and try to work with people who are greatly beneath you in experience because teaching will make you better at the basics. And this combination does not often happen because they don't like to field test, they don't like to stress test, and they don't like to put it against other styles so that people get these ideas. It's the original reason MMA kind of came to be as a place that let's finally find out. If you look at the first MMA tournaments, they were really cool compared to modern ones because you would have a taekwondo practitioner, straight taekwondo, versus a judo guy or versus someone who did Shotokan karate. And I know karate. I took years of Japanese, but whatever. And what happened is that as a training field actually homogenized into understanding you need three basic skill sets to build the form. You need a striking, a kicking, and a grappling system. So the Western version of that was largely boxing. Kicking was harder to find, but they had kickboxing, as they called it, and then Greco-Roman wrestling or point wrestling, something along those lines. Now you have BJJ, which is got a lot of elements of different systems in it, and that seems to be the dominant approach to ring fighting. Once in a while, you'll see like a Krav Maga guy or a Sambo guy come in, and it makes for an interesting bout because then you're actually seeing different styles. But right now, it's almost always the same style versus the same style.
I was actually going to ask Thesis, like, how did the Western or the Eastern fighters see what we do? So, yeah. I like Foxy's answer. Just butt heads on both sides.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be the right one. Like, my style is the superior style. It's the only way.
Oh God, and you get so offended with me. What, is your way the best? No, my way is elementary school. It's like Rosetta Stone in elementary school so that y'all can talk to each other. I'm not winning tournaments with what I am teaching. I am building a foundation so that you can find what works for you.
Just
And then I've had, but you're not a real sword master if you're not training them to championship and blah blah. No, there are other guys who do that when they know what they want to do.
best
Yes,
style. Best style ever. That is
Foxy
the
needs
best
a
style.
shield. Foxy needs a shield so bad I can taste it. If you don't want to be mobile,
shield.
Riot Shield is your buddy. Riot Shields can be a little expensive, and they're a little hard to get these days because of reasons. But right now, if you dig around sometimes, you can find lost snow saucer sleds, and they make remarkable training shields with minimal effort to set them up.
Yeah, you just gotta strap them up and.
No worries. Get your food, dear. And hi, Tash.
Oh,
Uh,
hi. Yeah, you came in at the best conversations ever.
it really is. This is the stuff I love to be able to discuss because it needs to be discussed, but very rarely will people let that bubble pop.
Yeah.
They either get too caught up in the "woo, we're talking about underwear,"
Or they whisper it in dark corners.
Yeah.
Like it's shameful.
Oh, I don't want to be stabbed in the winky. And frankly,
I like what I got going on, so I'm keeping it.
yeah,
Still there.
I've been around for some true horror stories.
Yeah.
I've lived through a few true horror stories. Everything I do where I say this is how you should do it is safety oriented. It's either biomechanical or it's safety oriented, like armoring. You have to find looks at West.
So what we usually have around here are like the mall Eastern, like the mall Taekwondo dudes. Yeah, the mall dojos. We have very few like actual dojos in the Midwest, at least in Indiana.
At least that there are some.
There are some, but not in my area.
Yeah,
there are very few actual like Eastern dojos. They're usually like the mall dojos with some very, very pale individual that is like named like Brad or Ken and has like spiked frosted tips. And yeah, I had one that was like, I can teach you how to defend yourself. And I was like, bro, I'm like 200 pounds. I'm going to sit on them. Like, I'm tired. I'm just waiting for my sister. Just. Yeah. The mall ninjas. Yeah. That's. Yeah. And they're like next to the BMV and which is next to Kmart. You know the one I'm talking about in Maple Lane Mall. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Like the level of flashback trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, that's the trick. That's gravity. Yes, gravity is your friend. And the problem is where we are.
That's and all we have.
Imagine literally
90% of what we have.
Yeah.
That is a continuous. That's all we meet every day. That's all we encounter. This is like the only art is this art. It's Taekwondo. It's it's karate. It's this. It's this. It's this. Oh, you play with. You must do LARP. You play with swords. That's cute. And you're just like,
or
your face.
the other extreme that I've encountered, there is a gentleman out there. I will not say his name because I don't want to get sued. But he is very famous in certain convention circles. And I don't mean martial arts convention. I mean like comic book convention. And he charges $180 an hour. And we had this fellow who came out and claimed he knew how to fight with the katana.
Yeah.
And I said, okay.
Yeah, they've actually came out to our practices.
Yes. We have had practices. I mean, this is really close to the old kung fu movies where we're out doing our thing and the school of whatever blazing fist of, red ring of fury.
Yeah. And we're just trying to practice, dudes. What? You don't get to have our school if you come in here. Come on.
Yeah. But the comic book guy, yeah, basically. But he trained, and I will give him this. We had several people who specialized, young ladies, and not so young but looked very young ladies, in intense distraction techniques during fencing, and that did a lot to cure me of any distraction on that front. Wow, I love. Just for a second, I didn't realize that was like a bowl of ice cream.
I put it in the mug so my hand wouldn't get cold.
1, brilliant. 2, I thought you heard me say that and reached down and took a big scoop of peanut butter to shut yourself up.
I mean, that's not a dumb idea. But
that was like the most passive.
No, it's chocolate vanilla swirl. It's delicious.
And what's fun is we had people try that with me and then get very, very confused.
Yeah. No, they would it sounds like a bad movie, but this actually happened to us. Like they would come in and be like, "Oh, if we beat you, you have to learn our style." And we're like, "We're just practicing, bro. Like we just want to practice. Like we're here having fun. We're just, we're practicing." And it's why did you roll up on us? It was so confusing and just.
And very often I'd say I won't do this for stakes at all because that would be foolish for me. I'm just a short, kind of crippled up man, and I just share what I know to get people started, and then I would kind of Yoda walk out and go, "Oh, but you can. I'd love to see a demonstration of what you have, sir. I mean, I'm not very much, but I do know a thing or two, and because I do have a hitch in the way I walk, but at certain times it does get a little more pronounced. You don't mind if I fight with my cane in my offhand, do you? I mean, it's just for balance and whatnot. No? Oh, good.
Well, the thing was, most of us are differently abled in some way. Like you had one of us that had like ankle braces on. You had a cane. Oh gosh! At one point, we had a blind guy. Like, we were like the crippled Avengers, and they wanted our school. Like, come on, guys, we're just practicing.
What was it? 7 deadly venoms or 5 deadly venoms?
The 5 deadly venoms, I think.
It was 5 deadly venoms. I thought so.
Yeah,
my brain went 7 deadly sins.
It's the same group of guys, but. Those are 2 of my favorite kung fu movies. But
excellent.
Right? Like, okay, Crippled Avengers, forever my favorite. Just forever my favorite.
Oh, no. It really great kung fu movies. And early era wire fu.
Oh, yeah. It's like the 70s era.
Where
And
you hear the blong.
Oh yeah, and they're definitely dubbed, and um it's the same like 5 guys that are in every kung fu movie of that era, and one guy has like his arms get cut off, so he's the villain. He's the villain. Um, one of the good guys, his legs get cut off, and then one guy is blinded, one guy can't hear, and like they train and they learn to use their disabilities as like their superpowers, and they're the crippled Avengers, and they join forces, and it's an epic battle, and one guy
Oh
is
yeah.
tortured to insanity, and of course he's got monkey style, and just I love it. I love it so much.
the
And the
real
cat.
root of the real root of your issues with monkeys. It's monkey style.
It's monkey style kung fu. No, I love it so much. But yeah, no. So yeah, if you
How
ever wanted to know
exactly
my
go,
favorite
Brad?
kung fu movie, that's it. Oh my gosh. Hi, kitty cats.
Oh, Jesus, you're missing out on one of the great joys of life, are bad dubs. I mean,
Yes, Shaw Brothers.
yeah, the Shaw Brothers flicks, yes.
Okay,
But here,
it's so good though. Like, I love it so much. It is my favorite ever. Oh yeah, Gratch is home. Their cat. The
oh,
radioactive cat is now home.
oh, I'm glad.
And I'm looking and I don't see it.
Is it on Facebook? And to
It's
whom are
on
you reporting?
Discord.
Oh, on Discord.
On
Okay.
Discord. I'm not seeing it.
I will tell you, I am on Discord in the way I can get on and go to a couple places, but there is far too much technological chaos for me to not have Discord. Like, I can't let the app run on my phone because it shuts my phone
It
off and makes
hates
it
the
blank.
phone app. It hates the phone app.
Oh,
Hi.
oh, oh, Sarah, my dear dark love. Uh, MXC is the greatest thing ever created in
Oh my God.
television entertainment. The most extreme elimination challenge, for those who don't know,
Sinkers and
is
floaters.
sinkers and floaters.
Sinkers and floaters.
The original Wipeout uh, slapstick game show, and it's based on Toshiro's Castle.
Yes.
And if you look on Amazon Prime right now, they've done not just a new one, a continuation on, like, for the plot, mind you, the plot of Toshiro's Castle, which is so good. Baba Ganoush!
Baba
Anyway.
Ganoush. Oh God. And then the field interviews.
Oh,
all right. Let me see why this did not go through. Let me make sure I've got the name right. Who am I on here? It's my first name, right? Who am
but
I?
and I can understand that.
Oh, it's Trilaina B. Because
There's
they changed it.
One?
No, they changed it, so now it's Trilaina B.
Oh, you have to have your
last. They added my last bunk. Yeah, I don't know. Because of course there were multiple Trilainas, so.
Do you have an anime cat girl as your PFP popped up?
What?
Last comment to hit. So, like, your personal, your profile picture or whatever?
I have a bumblebee butt. I have a bumble butt. But it is Trilaina B.
Sorry. I was warped backwards in time. Theater pants are awesome, and working on the horror that was Aisle 4 had certain benefits. Anyway.
Oh, I got it. Okay, I just got the thing that got it. There it is. There it is. There
Excellent.
it is. Pending. Got it. Thank you. All right. Success. Thank you so much for going through all that.
How long is that? How much is that? 17. Okay, I may have to wait till after June 1st to get the money to, or June 5th, something like that, to get that book. But I have hearted it. Oh, well, now it's not letting me log into my own Amazon because tech hates me. I will get that book and I'll do a review on it. It is fascinating how the different styles approach things.
Thank you so much, Midnight. He sent me the link he sent you about the Indian martial arts.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, I'm excited.
Wonderful. Because I'm at a point where I found one of my boxes of manuals from when we were moving. They were in a safe plastic tub.
Oh no.
Something chewed through, and the ones I thought I had, I'm like, I found pieces of them in this nest, and that I'm highly allergic.
Oh no.
Oh. Awesome. Free copies of anything are great. Oh, and I want to address something because a question came up through the Patreon. I'm probably going to set up a separate folder for you guys to put in the stuff for you guys to sort of self-curate. Because basically I'm trying to find ways for me to give back to my patrons. And you don't let me?
Just let me give you things.
And I think you can share. You have a wrench. You can share links. Yeah. I just ironically from StreamYard I can't follow links, and it doesn't like to let me cut and paste to get the words to put them up to seal them that way. So I have to manually type these in.
I was going to say send it to Facebook. If you send it to his Facebook,
Sarah does not have a wrench, and at this point, that's ridiculous. Nope. Because I know she's going to want to ask questions, so I will handle that.
Okay, I need to leave soon because I am late for these guys. Get out of my ice cream. That's not good for your tummy.
Oh, I understand. Thank you so much. I mean, I did not mean to draft you
into
a 2-hour.
I've been enjoying it, so. But all right, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out and helping me through my monologue because I am terrible at monologuing.
You are awesome at it. You just doubt yourself. Trey, I wouldn't have pulled over and messaged you. Think about it. There are compliments, and then there's me saying, I trust you enough to please ask for a favor. When you're done doing this, let that percolate a bit of the actual what I've said.
I know. Like I'm also trying not to get misty-eyed, so I'm gonna go give my cat some treaters.
That's why I said later, so you can try and be. We all have to sometimes.
But all right, I love you all. So you guys keep having fun.
Thank you, Mags. I'll catch up with you later.
Yep. Bye, y'all.
I'm going to remove you so you don't have to. There you go. All righty. Let's see now. Yeah, wasn't she magnificent? And have a great time night. I have to switch over my accounts on my phone, which it's not letting me do. So what I will do is I will come back and I will give a bunch of wrenches after the stream is over to the folks who need to be able to share links. Thank you, Joe, by the way. And do let me know if that package got there. Have a great night. Yes. Oh, well, I always doubt myself. I'm supposed to. I am punching way above my weight class most of the time. Oh, good. Thank you, Joe. I was actually very concerned. I know it's not dramatic, but I do hope it's at least of some use. And I hope I got the right ones. But I heard you were saying some things, and I'm like, wait a second, I have the ability to address that. But guys, oh yeah, thank you, and yes, very. I have in what I do, I have my obvious duties, and then let me put this up. Trey Thesis said, as I said last weekend, I can totally understand why you chose her as your successor. Uh, and then I have what are my secondary duties, and or not secondary, but less obvious. And Trilaina is probably the only person on Earth right now that I know of who can do both. It takes a lot, and I want to thank you for the support you gave her and the kindness that you showed her. I was not able to see the beginning of this stream, so I will have to go back and check the reruns. But I'm very glad she got to talk about her journey from. I can't believe I'm going to drop this line, but from never from never holding a sword to teaching the art to others. But there are few people on the planet who have the kind of competency, the kind of empathy, the kind of courage, and the kind of intelligence that Trey shows every time I see her, every time she gets on the field. I know in certain circles right now it is not popular to engage in empathic endeavors. It's not popular to care about the feelings of others and help them level up, because it can't be about the instructor. It can't be about making the instructor look good. It can't be about serving the instructor's ego. Students are not a commodity, they are a privilege. And when somebody gets on my list field, everybody is equal save for their capacities and what we can learn and what we can teach. And very few people can do that. Because I'll be honest, ladies, gentlemen, people who identify in between, I don't care when you hit my list field. I consider my list field to be a sacred space. And part of that sacred duty is what is kind of referred to as the sovereignty of the Soleil. And this concept is born from the fact that at some point, a royal born individual, high aristocracy, royal, nobility, has to learn how to sword fight. And they have to learn from someone who is much lower class than they are in the hierarchies. When you hit that, as soon as you walk into the Soleil, the fighting, the training area, for me, I usually use the term list field. I am listened to and heeded not because of rank or personal power or anything weird like that. I am listened to because they trust me to be able to give them knowledge. And to instruct someone, there has to be a level of obedience. You have to listen to your instructor. This is a basic understanding. But just like in the situation I was describing, when a king or a prince steps onto the field with the swordmaster, at worst they are equal. Most likely the swordmaster is elevated above him because the swordmaster has the skills to keep the king alive. There is a social contract within that where the swordmaster cannot abuse his ability in there to gain control or leverage beyond the purpose of educating. And in the process of doing that, he has to strike the king. You understand that? The king needs to learn to block, which means the king's going to miss a block. The young king, the young prince, the young queen, doesn't matter. They are going to miss shots and they are going to get hit with a stick. In any other circumstance, that's a beheading offense in certain times of the sword. But it has to be understood that the king won't use their power to negatively influence what the swordmaster's doing. There is an equity, an equanimity of function in the list field. It is, in many ways, a separate nation from the rest of the world. And yes, in that nation, the instructor must reign. And they must reign supreme because it is their job to train a student to survive. Now, one thing I hold to is the more you sweat in training for anything, the less you bleed in actual conflict. And that's why I don't approach what I do like a LARP. And I've deliberately tried to pull as much artifice out of it. The bowing and the different salutes and stuff. No. A simple acknowledgement that you are ready and that I am ready, or that the opponents are ready under the conventions that have already been established is sufficient. Because for me, it can never be more than that. I can't ever use my students for clout, I'd far rather it be the other way around. If I can do something that elevates you guys, fine. But it's not your job to ever do anything to me, because that's not my job. Think of it just like the American school system, okay? A student comes in with the understanding of a child on these subjects. They don't know. That means you can't treat their lack of knowledge like a moral failing, because it's not. It is a simple lack of knowledge, lack of experience. It is the instructor's duty to evaluate their capabilities, highlight their strengths and weaknesses, build up the strengths, and minimize the weaknesses to a measurable goal. For me, my goal is and will always be, I want you to be able to beat me consistently. I'm not saying all the time, but I want you to be able to use your skill set when I am playing at least mostly fair to defeat me. Your job is to beat me. And when you have beat me consistently and you're comfortable in the fact that beating me is a likely outcome, you have not learned all I know, but you have learned enough to be functional, to transfer from, to make the journey from student to colleague. Because I have 3 levels in my assessment of people that matter on the field. You're either a student, you're a colleague of my level, or you're an instructor, either an instructor of me or an instructor of your own students. That's it. I don't like ranking systems. I don't like just this. It mirrors the 3 atmospheres in the vertical assessment of the body in Chinese martial arts. Uh, and after that, my job is to try to get you to ascend to a place where you can continue to improve till you reach your maximum, whatever that is. Many times that means go exploring other groups. Cool, do it. If you learn something cool, please come back and share. But I I don't pursue personal elevation very deliberately because I need to be where I am. Do you understand that? If I were ever really included in any of the groups I've had dealings with, I would not be in that weird middle place where the people who need to find me find me. If I were ever somehow seriously recognized for what I do or my skill or something completely garbage like that, that could intimidate people who from otherwise seeking me out. A lot of people I've worked with, a lot of my students, a lot of my colleagues, and a lot of my friends, my family, started this with no intention of climbing a ladder towards some kind of success, going up a great stairway toward, a stairway to heaven, so to speak. They just wanted a flat landing they could think about starting on, and maybe a footstool to be boosted just a little bit. And that's what I do. I've had the privilege to know some of the finest people on the planet. Trilaina obviously is one of them. Many of the people in the chat are among them. And I never let, I don't want to say I never let myself forget that. That doesn't sound quite right. But I'm a very small fish in a very big pond. And I have met greats. I have met Olympians and the people who have titles in the SCA who deserve them. I have watched very talented women absolutely perforate people, both on the heavy and light field. I've known gentlemen of great and intimidating presence and prowess. And I've had the privilege of fighting some of them. Rarely do I beat them. Sometimes. I can usually hold my own better than I should. And oddly enough, that's enough to annoy some people. I hold my own better than I should. And I can teach you guys that. I can teach you how to hold your own better than you should. And some other things, like how to find a road that might help you ascend, how to think about your opponent differently, how to think about yourself differently. It is not a large thing. It is not an impressive thing. It is not a remembered thing. Because if I do my job right, there is the very real possibility, and perhaps the very real necessity, for to a measure my presence to be forgotten. Once the rock is thrown into the water, all people see are the ripples. The ripples are what matter. The rock becomes irrelevant as soon as the ripples go out. The ripples are what change everything. And I know a great many people whose whole life is about either negatively or positively being that kind of ripple, the ripple that turns into the wave that will change the world. You know, great, passionate people. And I know huge boulders who, when they hit the pool of water, it rains for days and days and days. I mean, they're transformative forces of nature. It is my goal that at the very end of this, when everything is done and said and done, and the curtain comes down, that the ripples my little rock has made continue to do good things and maybe bounce off of each other and get bigger. Because the teacher is not as important as the lesson. The lesson is not as important as the student, and the student is not as important as the effects that they put out into the world. And I've seen that go very good, and I have seen that go monstrously evil. But I do know this. The ripples each of you make on your journey are bigger than you know, brighter than you know, more hopeful and inspiring than you can imagine. Each one of you who go out and you pick up a sword for your own reasons, your own style, doesn't matter what the art is. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. What matters is you had the wonderful audacity in a world designed to numb, to make you comfortably numb, to be an opiate. That's what the vast majority of the world is. It's to distract you from the realities of certain things going on. That's it. And a lot of people live that way. And if that's their choice, I have no problem with it. But each of you have decided instead to carve out something better. Because at one point, that's what I was doing. I took a period in my life at a practice sword and I carved out something. And where some of you will carve out wonders, great monuments, some of you will carve out the equivalent of modest little homes. And some of you, like myself, will find a way to dig out a very nice, almost hobbitish existence. And you'll take care of each other. And that's what matters. You can't take care of each other if you don't have the ability to recognize your own power. You can't recognize your own power if it isn't made manifest by your actions. And you can't act if you are paralyzed with fear and oppression and despair. Perhaps I am indeed a silly old man, a raggedy remnant of a collection of purloined philosophies. Snatched up as though taken by a thief in the night. But every once in a while, the stars aligned, and the moon in her infinite beauty goes quiet, and in the dark night, a light shines out. And that light is kicked off by the transformative progress of people I've had the privilege to work with. And for me, there is no greater privilege as a sword master than to sit in the back and catch a little of that light. Because that's what I believe in you guys. That's what I believe you're capable of. That's what I believe you are. The difference between a sword and a gun is this. A gun can only destroy. You can never use a gun defensively. Now, you can destroy someone to defend yourself. Nothing wrong with that. You can destroy someone to defend your country. Gets real interesting real quick. Nothing wrong with that, though. But with a sword, you can stop a shot. A sword can be a shield. And just like you can use it to carve through fate and reshape things, you can use the sword to halt the attacks against you. And once you have the mentality to do that physically, when somebody raises their voice and leans in to attempt to intimidate you, it just slides off. And they can hit you, they can beat you bloody. But there's a place where, with martial discipline and training, where, yeah, they can beat the tar out of your body. They can do whatever they want to it. And I say that with the full understanding of what that means. But they can't touch you anymore. And maybe, just maybe, you can prevent the rest too. we grow up in many ways to be the people we needed to have. And to be what would make us feel safe in many ways. I'd like that to be the best version of that can happen. Because I know what it's like to be made to cower in fear. I know what it's like to fear the coming strike. And strikes and strikes and strikes. And the jeers and the torments. I know what it's like to have that nearly unmake you. And maybe unmake you. There's a place where when you come back, you don't know if all of you came back. If you end up there. So, part of my goal is to make sure everyone that I can affect never really understands the sentence I just said. And if they do understand what I just said, to help them come home. We are, my friends, 2.5 hours into the stream. I'm about 2 hours of talking. Thank you, Houston Dave. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to not greet you. I just was kind of in the middle of a statement. I again want to thank Trilaina for covering for me for the beginning of the stream and to apologize, but I have to adjourn the stream so that I can finish my dinner, get some of my much delayed medication, and unload the cars before the coyotes come out. So, because I have a truckload of things I had to acquire. I appreciate you coming. Please like and share this. Please follow Trilaina on her channel and support the Independent Creator Directory. They're wonderful folks. Keep asking these kind of questions. Keep talking about this stuff. And not just to me, to Trey, to anyone, to each other. Have these conversations. And beyond that, guys, keep your eyes open and your guard up. Do your drills, but be kind to yourself and each other. I will be back. Actually, I will be back probably sometime this weekend over on the Nick Tucker channel to redo/repair the Nick Knows Nerf videos I did. And I will be back on my other channel Monday for Never Mind the Furthermore, supporting authors, artists, and other creatives in a street not unlike this, but on that subject matter. And then I'll be back here. I'll do that Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. All of those are at 10 a.m. Eastern. The Wednesday show is about this long. It's usually a 2-hour-ish art stream where I draw the thumbnails for next week for Never Mind the Furthermore. And then at 8 o'clock Eastern, hopefully I will actually be back by at the start of the program. I'll be here for another episode of the Historical Fencing Guild's live stream where I answer your questions about Western martial arts. I help you find information that if I don't have it, and we exchange ideas about swords and shenanigans. Till then, toodles, folks.